Hey guys, welcome back. In today's video, let's talk about the tips and tricks to get your first $100,000. Now, before we begin, let's first understand why is your first $100,000 important. Your first $100,000 is going to be excruciating, it's going to be painful, it instills a certain form of discipline while you reach there. And having that first $100,000, you can then free up your time to learn new skills, to find out more opportunities, to close up the knowledge gap. And as you reach your goal to your first $100,000 and progress through time, your skill level and skill set increases and your next $100,000 become easier. Now, for me, because I'm a dropout, it took me about 5 years to reach to my first $100,000, and then it took me another year to reach to my second $100,000 and half a year to reach to $300,000 before the market started crashing. But it is completely fine and okay for me because I already built up certain skill sets that enable me to reach my next $100,000 faster than before, such as options. Now, I make this video because I feel that it is the most important video to kickstart your journey, your wealth journey, and my goal for you is to step on my back, to accelerate your speed to reaching your first $100,000 faster than I did. Because in this ever-changing world, there are a lot of opportunities out there, and having your first $100,000 will enable you to free up your time, to take more risks, to learn more about this world, learn how it functions, learn about the truth, learn about how wealthy people use their money, how they use certain loopholes. And this is only available if you have a good sum of money saved up, and that is about $100,000, and that can free you up from a scarcity mindset where you don't have to worry about the day-to-day living expenses, the day-to-day hassle, and you can just sit down and focus and think about the world as it is, the opportunities out there, the risks that you can take. And that is why the $100,000 is important. And the earlier you reach your first $100,000 in terms of age, the more advantage you have, the more knowledge you can close, the higher risk you can take, and that will propel you and things will become exponential. So today, let me share with you how I reached my first $100,000 and what I think I could have done a lot better, and the mistakes I made along the way, and the good things that you should adopt while reaching your first $100,000. Now, your first $100,000 is going to be repetitive, boring, but it instills some form of financial discipline in you. The qualities that got me to my first $100,000 is actually just financial discipline. It's about eliminating all the bad financial decisions and delayed gratification. So for example, when people are partying on their Friday nights or Saturday nights, I'm out there working and I didn't stop working. It is really about cutting out all the bad habits that reduces your output, that makes you lazy, hangover, or whatever nonsense. It's about increasing your output by having enough sleep, by working and being positive. So for me, I really had no resources, no network, no knowledge, and I started just by trading my time for money. And that is the only way I knew. But along the way, I recognized that I can buy cheap products and flip them for profits, such as whiskey, laptops, cigars, watches, anything. And nowadays, it is even easier to make money. Instead of flipping products, you can flip services, and you can do it through just your laptop. You can think of what services you can provide as a package. Go and find remote jobs from Upwork and delegate to people in Fiverr and package it as a whole and deliver your service to them. So nowadays, it is even easier to make money. You just have to lower your ego, go and ask people that is successful, how they do it, close up the knowledge gap. And that is what I didn't do, and I wish I have done it earlier. So another thing I did that accelerated to my first $100,000 is that I was prudent with my savings, eliminate all the bad habits, and I have a pot of capital that I saved up. And I waited for a financial crisis, and I buy the best company I can find based on my understanding and conviction and doing hours of research, and I just put it in, and then that money doubled. So for me, I did it in a very dumb way. So for me personally, to reach to my first $100,000 without resource, without network, without any knowledge, all I did was 3 simple things. Eliminate my bad habits so that I can increase my output, increase the amount of money I bring in. Secondly, is to identify information gap on products that are cheap and I can flip them up for profit. For me, it was luxury good because luxury good has luxury margin. And the third thing I did was to identify opportunities when the opportunities present itself, and I took the risk to go all in, fully convicted based on my research, and that got me to my first 100K and subsequently 200 and 300K. On hindsight, if I were to start all over again, what I could have done better was a few more things that I wish I included, and that was to learn sales and negotiation. The second thing I wish I could have done better was to develop a high income skill first before doing all this, before trading my time for money. I should just focus on a high income skill. I learned how to build. Now I have options, which is sort of a high income skill that I'm using money's time combined with my time to generate more cash to buy more Tesla shares. But if I were to restart all over again, I will wish that I have built on top of another high income skill that generates me good cash flow. You can save your way to your first 100,000 but you cannot save your way to $1 million. And from 100,000 to $1 million is a different ball game. That if I had a high income scale in the beginning, I could have scaled it up to $1 million, because right now I'm still building on my high income scale. So that is something I wish I could have done better, building a high income scale earlier on instead of just working and trading my time for money. Getting to your first $100,000 is important because that is the most linear process that it is hard for you to compound anything on top of it. You cannot invest your way to $100,000 unless you get lucky in crypto. So your first $100,000 will instill some form of discipline in you, and this discipline will give you a good foundation to build on top of this structure. Your first $100,000 is really not that hard. You can save your way up there. So let's say you save $1,000, it will take you 100 months to get there. If you save 2K a month, it will take you about 5 years. If you save 3K a month, it will take you about 3.5 years for you to reach to your first $100,000. And this is a more linear path. It's hard for you to be exponential. But if you have a high income scale, of course you can scale it. So that is what I mean by if I were to redo this, I will first develop my high income scale first. If I were to redo this whole plan again, I will first develop a high income scale and then build systems on top of it. And when the system is stable and I want to scale, I will introduce debt to scale my operations from other people. I will introduce debt from banks, lenders, investors. And from the money I have made, I will use some form of tax advantage, some form of legal loopholes, so that this capital is moved more efficiently, so on and so forth. So this is what I would have changed if I were to do it all over again. And this is what I'm currently building now. And in my next video, I will talk about what I think is important for me to scale from $100,000 to $1 million. And so please stay tuned for the next video. If you find this video useful and this type of content useful, do comment down below and let me know that I should do more of this type of video. Don't forget to help me like this video and help me subscribe to my channel. Thank you, and I'll see you next week.